Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, I am so excited about our topic today because, well, we're taking some genuinely timeless knowledge and turning it into something you can actually use right now. We're going to take a traditional, ancient kitchen apothecary and basically organize it into a practical, modern daily schedule. Think of this as your personal blueprint for naturally supporting your digestion, drawing on wisdom that's literally survived for generations.
Now, you might be wondering, what if your gut problems didn't start with modern food? Most of us just assume that bloating, stomach pain, and, poor digestion are entirely modern problems caused purely by modern diets. But what if they aren't? The reality is, ancient cultures were dealing with these exact same unsettled stomachs long before pharmacies ever existed. They didn't have internet quick fixes. They had herbs, fermented foods, roots, teas, the whole shebang of simple, daily rituals.
So the crucial point is, we've got to be realistic right out of the gate. No remedy can magically fix your gut forever. If anyone online is telling you that a single ingredient will perfectly heal your gut overnight, they are just selling you internet nonsense. This explainer is all about building long-term, consistent daily habits using 10 ancient remedies that people actually still use today for overall wellness. It's really about respecting your body, not forcing it.
To make this super easy, we're going to follow a simple daily itinerary. We'll start with morning, waking your digestion. Move into midday, supporting your meals, then evening, soothing the system, and wrap up with building your beginner habit.
All right, part 1. Morning, waking your digestion.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Imagine stepping into a warm kitchen right after you wake up. Your body has been resting, right? So your digestive system needs a gentle, intentional signal that it's time to get to work. We're placing 2 specific liquids right at the start of your day. At 7 a.m., we've got apple cider vinegar, and a bit later at 8 a.m., bone broth. These are 2 very different approaches to waking up the body, but both have really deep traditional roots.
Let's compare them. Apple cider vinegar has this sharp waking effect. Now, let's be totally honest, it does not melt belly fat or magically detox your organs like the internet claims. But diluted apple cider vinegar has been used traditionally before meals because it's believed to support digestion. On the flip side, we have bone broth. If you've got a sensitive morning stomach, broth offers this warm, simple, mineral-rich nourishment. For generations, cultures have simmered bones and vegetables into these gentle broths because they're just incredibly easy to digest.
But hey, quick time out here regarding the vinegar. If you choose to incorporate apple cider vinegar into your morning, never drink it straight. Actually, let me rephrase that. Literally never ever drink it straight. Straight vinegar will irritate your throat, your stomach, and absolutely wreck your tooth enamel. It must always be diluted in water. It's an old digestive tradition for sure, but it absolutely requires careful, realistic use.
Moving on to part 2, midday, supporting your meals.
So as the morning fades, we shift into the busiest part of the day. Midday is usually when we're having our heaviest meals, right? So we want to keep our next traditional remedies right on the dining table to actively support our digestion as we eat. Here's the midday breakdown. We're dividing your lunch into 3 distinct phases. At 12 p.m., before you eat, we prep with bitter herbs. At 12:30 p.m., right during the meal, we introduce fermented foods. And at 1 p.m., post-meal, we settle everything down with fennel and ginger. Let's look at exactly why this sequence works so well.
And this brilliantly illustrates something ancient people understood that most modern folks have completely forgotten. Bitter taste matters. Bitter herbs aren't sweet, they aren't trendy, but plants like dandelion, gentian, artichoke leaf, and burdock root were traditionally used right before meals. The idea is that this bitter flavor acts almost like an alarm clock to wake up the digestive system before the food even arrives. It's honestly one of the most underrated traditional gut practices you can try.
Then, as you're actually eating your meal, we bring in ancient consistency through fermented foods. Long before we had refrigerators, fermenting was just how people preserved their food. But it evolved into this absolutely vital gut-supporting tradition. Incorporating just a little bit of yogurt, sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, or miso during your meal introduces beneficial bacteria to support a healthy gut microbiome. But remember, start slow. Adding too much too fast, that's a recipe for bloating. Your gut doesn't need chaos, it really needs consistency.
Finally, you've finished your meal, and maybe your stomach feels a little heavy or slow. This is where we turn to ginger and fennel seeds. Ginger is one of the oldest gut-supporting roots in the world, heavily valued across ancient Chinese, Indian, and Middle Eastern traditions for its warming comfort. A simple hot ginger tea with a slice of lemon, perfection. Alternatively, we have fennel seeds. In a lot of cultures, people simply chewed these small seeds right after meals or steeped them into tea. Fennel offers a really crisp utility. It's traditional, old-school wisdom for gas, bloating, and hey, as a bonus, fresh breath.
All right, part 3. Evening, soothing the system.
Now the busy day is over. We're lowering the energy, dimming the lights, and basically moving our apothecary items away from the dining table and over to the nightstand. Our evening timeline is designed to help your body naturally transition into rest. At 7 p.m., a bit after dinner, you might reach for peppermint or marshmallow root. Then, closer to bed around 8:30 p.m., as you truly wind down, chamomile or licorice root are fantastic options.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sensory contrast between these two 7 p.m. options. Peppermint is famous for its clean, crisp cooling effect, right? It makes the body feel a bit lighter and more settled after dinner. But contrast that with marshmallow root, and yes, actually, it is a real plant, not the fluffy white candy. Marshmallow root contains a naturally soothing substance called mucilage. When you mix it with water, it creates this soft, slippery texture that herbalists use to gently coat and soothe the throat and stomach. It's such a simple yet incredibly effective ancient secret.
Moving later into the evening, we have chamomile and licorice root. Now, most people just think of chamomile for sleep, but ancient cultures knew that stress and digestion are deeply, deeply connected. When your nervous system is tense, your gut absolutely feels it. Chamomile is a gentle, calm the system kind of herb that relaxes both the mind and the stomach. Licorice root, on the other hand, is a sweet, heavy-duty herbal root used in traditional teas for powerful stomach and throat comfort.
But we definitely need to hit the brakes here for a second. These are real remedies, and they demand respect. They are not for everyone. For instance, that cooling peppermint we just talked about, it can actually make acid reflux worse for some people. And that powerful licorice root, too much of it can cause issues for people with blood pressure problems or those on certain medications. These herbs aren't some one-size-fits-all magic trick. You really have to listen to your body and proceed with care.
Finally, part 4. Building your beginner habit. Consistency over chaos.
We've covered a lot of traditional knowledge today, mapping out 10 different remedies across an entire day. But look, knowledge is only useful if you can actually apply it. Let's move to and see how this builds into a routine you can realistically sustain. Do not try to do all 10 of these tomorrow. Respecting your body means starting small. Step 1, pick just one time of day where your digestion needs the most support. Step 2, choose just one simple food or tea from that part of the schedule. Step 3, focus solely on making that one single addition a daily habit. Remember, ancient remedies were built around daily, simple rituals, not forcing the body.
And that brings us to the end of our daily schedule. Just a reminder, these traditional foods and herbal teas are absolutely wonderful for natural support. But if your gut issues are serious, painful, or ongoing, you should absolutely talk to a healthcare professional. But for everyone else out there looking to tap into the forgotten wellness knowledge of the past, I'll leave you with this. Out of the warming ginger, the soothing marshmallow root, the waking bitters, or the nourishing bone broth, which ancient remedy are you going to try first? Start small, build your habit, and listen to your body. Catch you next time.